What's up, everybody? Welcome to tonight's episode of the Not Your Average Mark Wrestling Podcast. I am your host, the Tutorial Boss Guapo. This man beside me, as you may know, is the one, the only Mike Caldwell. Mike, what's up, man?
Well, I was waiting for something clever, and you just didn't have it today, did you?
I just didn't have it today. I was thrown off by the beard. That's what it was.
Well, it's something to throw people off. So.
Well, it works. It works. It threw me right off.
Okay.
So it's already been a crazy week. Before we jump into it, though, I want to get into my thank yous. Wanted to say thank you to Ross and the boys from Labor 12 for our intro-outro music. Track's called Head Rush. Album's called Monsters. They got some pretty cool stuff coming up. They're working on some music videos. They're working on album number 2. You can find all of that over at labor12.com. That's laborxii.com. Want to say thanks to Joe and American Legacy for the Not Your Average merch. We got all sorts of merch available to everyone right now. You can find that on the website. You can find it live at the shows. Thank you to JRebs 3D Printing for this little piece of awesomeness right here. If you have a logo, you have something you want put into a light box like this, Cameron gets you taken care of. Dude is good at what he does. You can check him out, jrebs3dprinting.com. Want to say thank you to heckyeahradio.com for having a little button on their website that says Not Your Average Mark Wrestling Podcast. If you happen to miss one of our shows, shame on you, first off, for missing the show. But if it does happen, you can catch an audio version by clicking on the button on heckyeahradio.com. Thank you to Blind Ambition Studios for all of our graphics. Thank you to the WrestlingSociety.com for including us in their podcast room. And last but not least, thanks to the person who makes all of this work, even makes you look good. Saying. The one, the only, the guy. Patrick, thank you for what you do. One of the things he's done is, if you haven't checked it out yet, is our website, notyouraverage.mark.com. All sorts of good stuff there. You can find bios on all of us. You can find our merch. You can find out where we're going to be, what's going on. Make sure you check it out after the podcast, notyouraverage.mark.com. And now here we are.
I have one more thank you.
Oh, go ahead.
Thank you to everybody that's listening right now, everybody that's watching.
Oh, absolutely.
You people in the chat, y'all help make things go, and we can't do it without you. I mean, we could, but it'd be a lot more painful.
Yes, it would. You might notice I'm not quite as animated, jumping around as much as I normally do. Getting over a little bit of a chest cold type thing, so kind of taking it. I'm good.
Okay.
Just kind of getting over it. I don't know if you guys have heard, the ones that are not here in West Texas, but the wind the last couple of days has been insane. What was it? Tuesday we had like 60-mile-an-hour gusts.
Yeah.
And stuff blowing around, allergies kicking in. It was a whole thing. So if I sound a little off, that's why. But let's get into some main roster moments, shall we?
Let's do it.
All right, so when we came into SmackDown, the locker room, Cody's locker room, his dressing room, very lavish, came complete with wine and seafood and R-Truth.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of cool. They really, really played well on the what decision is Cody going to make? Is he going to sell his soul? Is he not going to sell his soul? The Rock's giving him all sorts of stuff. So they did a good job with that. R-Truth being in there was just the icing on the cake for me. Talking about, can we get jelly rolls next time?
Yes. R-Truth, definitely a national treasure.
Yes. Should be treated as such always. One thing we found out for sure is Canada loves them some Trish Stratus.
Yeah, in fact they do.
Yeah, it was kind of cool to see Trish get almost emotional at some of the chants for her.
Mm-hmm.
She, of course, Canada native, and she's one of the ones, man. I mean, she broke through the glass ceilings. Her and Lita, took women's wrestling to a new level back in the day, and it's good to see that the fans still appreciate that the way they should.
Yeah.
Chelsea Green, best character actress in the WWE, hands down.
Oh, absolutely. You know, I love me some Chelsea Green. She is definitely WWE's Karen, and Longest reigning United States champion.
Yeah, oldest, youngest. And that's a trick, to be the youngest and the oldest WWE Women's USA Champion.
Yeah.
I'm saying. Chelsea comes out, says she's glad she moved away from Canada, which Canada didn't take kindly to, but neither did Trish. So we ended up with Piper Niven, excuse me, Piper Niven, Chelsea Green, and Trishy time. Good match. Enjoyed it. Of course, Trish and Tiffany come out on top in that one. I like what they did with SmackDown this week, because what's better than a good tournament? You had Andrade versus Jacob Fatu. You had LA Knight versus Santos Escobar. You had Melo versus Braun Strowman. And the winners of those matches go into a triple threat later in the night. And the winner of that is the undisputed #1 contender for Shinsuke Nakamura's U.S. title.
Yeah.
So I thought that was, and to do it all in one show, I thought that was awesome. So Andrade and Jacob, I kind of felt like that was a gimme. I haven't really met the person yet who's going to take Jacob down and put his shoulders on the ground.
Yeah. So
Andrade came damn close.
Yeah. Jacob gave him a lot of offense, and that's very telling as far as the respect goes with Andrade, because not a lot of people have been getting that kind of offense with Jacob Fatu.
Well, and not only the offense, but what I loved about this was, excuse me, Jacob was able to, like, Jacob sells. He comes in, he's the werewolf, you think he could just take out anybody, but he sold some of Andrade's moves just great. So I've got a lot of respect for Jacob Fatu and the way he wrestles. Of course, Jacob Fatu coming out on top on that one. We had LA Knight and Santos Escobar. That was a decent match. LA Knight coming out on top in that one. And then we had Melo versus Braun Strowman. And before the match, The Miz was like, do that thing I taught you when you get to the ring. And Melo's like, I don't need it. I'm wondering if the end of that match was what he was talking about, because Strowman throws him around everywhere. Like, just throws him all over the place. And then the ref's back is turned, and a chair has made its way into the ring. Melo takes the chair, hits the mat, throws the chair to Strowman, and Eddie Guerrero's the hell out of it. Falls down. Oh, he hit me. And Strowman's like, no. I didn't do that.
Yeah.
And, of course, the ref calls it. Melo gets the win on Braun Strowman. The only way Melo is going to get a win on Braun Strowman. Like, that was crazy. So, of course, Jacob, LA Knight, and Melo all going to the triple threat later in the night. We had a taste of the majority of our women's elimination chamber competitors in a 6-woman tag. You had Roxanne Perez, Liv Morgan, and Raquel Rodriguez going up against Naomi, Bayley, and Bianca Belair. Of course, Raquel Rodriguez not in the elimination chamber, but the rest of them are. It was a good match. I liked the back and forth in it. I liked the fact that Perez, Morgan, and Rodriguez won. A lot of times you start going into a PLE and you give your baby faces the little bit of a push going into it. I like the fact that they won.
Yeah. Roxanne more particular than anybody else, because she's the one that actually got the pin.
Right.
Which I think will come. I think that will come back into play at some point.
Roxanne Perez, she is something else. Like, she is next level. I've enjoyed watching her as she's made her move to the main roster.
That's Texas at its finest right there.
It is. That took us into our triple threat. It was insanity in the ring. I'm looking over at the chat. I believe it was Stratifaction instead of Trishy time. Yeah, you're correct. We had a whole poll and everything. It was cool.
Yeah, I was there for it. I wasn't here for it.
No, I get you. Like I said, the triple threat was just insanity. Like all over the place. I was a little surprised. I kind of figured Jacob Fatu had this. In the end, though, LA Knight gets the win. Number one contender, him and Shinsuke. Which, that's going to be a good match too. But excuse me.
Part 3.
Yes, part 3. All in all, SmackDown did exactly what it should have done. It was a good go-home show for Elimination Chamber. It moved all the storylines that it needed to move.
The Cody promo at the end.
The Cody promo at the end where he ends up with a truck.
Yeah.
What was it, like a Raptor, I think it was?
Yeah.
Custom Raptor.
That was a very sweet truck.
That was a very nice truck. I dug it. And that takes us into Saturday, the Elimination Chamber. We started the night off with the Women's Elimination Chamber. I just got to say, so the order was this. Liv Morgan and Naomi to start, and then Belair, Perez, Bayley, Bliss. Before they could even get kicked off, Jade Cargill comes out and beat the brakes off Naomi.
She sure did.
Like, it was crazy to watch.
Oh, yeah. I was like, oh. I enjoy some female violence, and Jade Cargill and Naomi, they lived up to it, and it was some top notch female violence.
Oh, absolutely. All right. I need you to talk more about that. I'll be right back.
Okay. So, Jade Cargill coming down. We've had a couple of theories on this whole situation. I've seen some videos where Bianca is in the background kind of having a meltdown during this whole situation. Now, whenever Jade's music hit, Bianca stood up, got her jacket off like she was getting ready to fight as well. So, is there still more to this story? Or was it just Bianca was trying to get ready for the match? So that's one of the big question marks of that whole situation. But all in all, with Naomi getting beat down like she got beat down, she was not able to continue this match. She was not able to even start this match.
She wasn't even able to stand up.
So it was a complete elimination. Liv Morgan got to stand in the ring and pose and play and talk smack to everybody. And then what happened next?
Bianca Belair got out and gained a little bit of revenge, I guess you could say. Before we go any further with it, I'm looking over at the chat. J-Reb saying, I need Baby Niam merch. Of course, J-Reb, a new pawpaw now. Got the grandbaby. J-Reb, I'm a step ahead of you, brother. This will be headed out tomorrow morning for your grandson. So
there you go. He is completely on top of
it. Some custom merch for little man. But getting back into the Women's Elimination Chamber, when Bianca Belair got in there, she whooped the hell out of Liv Morgan. Like, no question about that.
Let's just say Liv Morgan, very, very, very proud of how she's been handling business. She got busted wide open on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
And then still had a match on Friday and on Saturday.
Yep.
And did everything that she needed to do. So, Liv Morgan, yeah, I honestly think that she was probably MVP of the week as far as the females go.
Absolutely. And my hat's off to her, because if you take Liv Morgan 1 year ago and put her next to Liv Morgan right now, that's two different people.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
She has grown so much from last year to now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's awesome to watch. Excuse me. Like I said, once Belair got in, she just started beating the hell out of Liv. Her hair Belair's hair got used a lot, and there was a point at which Liv was using the hair to throw Belair into the turnbuckles, and I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, it was. I mean, definitely one of the main tools of the match. In fact, once all the women ended up getting in there wasn't an elimination until all the women actually got into the match.
Right.
And one of the most memorable ones for me was Alexa. I think it was Alexa Bliss's elimination, where Liv rolled her up and grabbed a hold of Bianca's hair to keep the pin.
Yep, to keep she had a hold of Bianca's hair and had Alexa Bliss rolled up. It was crazy.
So yeah, oh my God, did you see that? Did you see the mark that got left on her from that whip?
Oh man. So one of the things Bianca Belair likes to do is take that long braided ponytail of hers and whip people with it. Liv Morgan had a mark all the way across her abdomen from getting whipped
and around her back.
Yeah, it was it was bad. All in all, it was a great match. Roxanne Perez, I can't say enough about Roxanne Perez. She's proven she's main event ready. She's proven she's main roster ready.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm proud to watch what she's doing. All in all, came across Bianca, got the win.
Mm-hmm.
Now there's some questions for me here.
Okay.
I'm still a firm believer that Bianca had everything to do with what happened to Jade Cargill. I believe that, yes, it was Naomi that did it, but I think that
she did it for The Rock.
Yeah, basically. We're going to get a it was me, Austin, it was me all along moment from Bianca Belair. I see it happening. Like, I think that's going to be a thing. And I'm interested to see how it plays out between now and WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And it may not play out by then. It may be a point where Bianca wins the title at WrestleMania and then things start happening.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be a good story either way. I'm looking forward to it. We had some Stratif faction versus Nia and Candice. This was a good match, especially to follow up a very violent, very crazy women's chamber.
Mm-hmm.
This was a good catch your breath match.
Yeah. And the crowd absolutely ate it all up.
Yeah, and for me, this may have been the slowest match of the night, but it was also possibly the most necessary match of the night.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Because it gives you that chance to catch your breath, get ready to go. I love the fact that Trish started it with the Thez press. She's like, all right, let's go. Bam. Let's hit it.
Mm-hmm.
And the crowd loved it too. It did seem like to me, though, that maybe she was still shaking nerves or maybe a little bit of ring rust. But it took her, maybe 5 minutes to get back into the groove of, 2000s Trish.
Well, if other promotions, we won't mention at this moment in time, want to take notes, this is how you properly use somebody that has been a great in the past. So, completely honest, the way everything was used, they used Trish to help get Tiffany Stratton to that breaking point where she is now all babyface.
Yes. And of course, she hit the prettiest moonsault ever.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And indeed, it is pretty.
It is. I give her that. See, if she could just wrestle and not talk, we'd be all right.
Well, who would you put with her to talk?
Trish.
I mean, okay.
I'm just saying. You asked, huh?
But very, very good time with that one. They get the win.
I like how into it the crowd was.
And
there was a couple of moves that I was a little concerned. The Stratus faction Trish tried to do didn't turn out quite the way she wanted it to on Nia Jax.
But she kept moving.
Yeah, she kept moving, and the ever-present professional that she is.
Mm-hmm.
So while some things didn't go the way they should, everything was good in that match. We go from that to one that was just absolutely brutal, that being KO versus Sammy in an unsanctioned match. This, you had tables, you had face biting, you had a steel chair wrapped in barbed wire. Like, this match had all of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure how either one of them were moving after that.
I'm not sure how they weren't. The only thing that match did not have was blood.
Yeah. Which, all right.
We'll get to later.
Oh, no, we'll do it now. I wasn't going to say anything about it, but I will. That was my big problem, was the fact that there was no blood.
Yeah.
When you pull a chair out that's wrapped in barbed wire and you plant somebody's face on it and they don't bleed, that's a problem.
Yeah, it is.
That's the only issue I had with this match, was if you're going to go through the trouble of having a chair wrapped in barbed wire, somebody's got to bleed.
But with what happened at the end of the show, which we'll get to,
yeah,
I guess it was one of those necessary evils. But honestly, if we're gonna pick apart some things, we need to be fair in picking them apart. If you know you're not going to be able to bleed, do something else.
Yeah, absolutely.
But all in all, I would love to be Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens' chiropractor, because I would be set for life.
That ain't no lie. Just the sheer number of drops on right there on the corner of the apron.
Corner of the apron, over the top of the chair,
through the tables,
over the hill and through the woods to Grandma's house we go. All the tables that were over there that had all of the cans and everything else on them. Oh my God, no. You see, I used to do stuff like that, and I know how bad it hurts. And I get it. They're doing it at a much higher level and doing it for a lot more money.
Yes.
So I get it. And then they get the time off in between to be able to recuperate. But yeah, both of those guys are going to need it. And then let's go ahead and fast forward. Kevin Owens pulls off the win after 14 and a half power bombs to the apron. And then he comes out, he starts to walk away. He comes back, rips open the mat on the floor,
exposing the concrete,
getting ready to go give Sammy the big package pile driver on the concrete. Who do we get?
We get Randy Orton. Of course, Randy Orton got his own business to handle with KO, being the recipient of one of those package power bombs as well.
No.
He
just had a regular pile driver.
Okay, yeah, that's right. It was just pile driver on him. That's right.
But if somebody else is taking notes, that's how you're supposed to sell a pile driver, people?
Yes. He comes out, RKO's all around.
Yes.
Hits KO with one, hits the security with one. My favorite part, stops with this young guy that's like, looks scared, stops, holds his hand out, shakes his hand, and then RKO's.
See, he's like, hey, you ready?
Yeah. Here we go. It was good. I dug it. That's going to be a thing. KO and Randy. That's going to be a
that
thing.
Is one of the featured matches on WrestleMania.
It's got to be.
Guarantee it. Especially
since
Sammy's
not going to be back by WrestleMania.
No. I say Sammy's probably going to take about 3 months off.
I would hope.
Which is good. Sammy needs the time off.
He does. I agree.
He has been a major player for the last 3 years. And yeah, he needs that break. He's not getting that WrestleMania payday
Right.
if he takes the time off. But those guys get paid good money anyway.
Agreed. So that takes us to the men's chamber, which we had Rollins, McIntyre, Priest, Logan Paul, John Cena, CM Punk.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the order they came in. We started off with Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre. That was a good fight.
Yeah.
I get the impression watching them that perhaps they don't like each other.
You would think.
What I thought was funny, as much as I joke about it, seeing CM Punk in his little pod thing, cheering on Seth Rollins. Hit him harder! Hit him harder! That was great. But I popped for that. I thought it was funny.
The whole time that those two were in there by themselves, everything was over in CM Punk's corner of the pod, where everything was going on right there in front of CM Punk, because both of them were trying to show out for him.
Yeah. Well, they didn't have to wait very long to have some help. Damian Priest comes in, and I got to give it to Priest. Like, I thought maybe he was reaching a plateau while he was on Raw. And this move to SmackDown has been great for him. And getting the opportunity to work with a Seth Rollins and a Drew McIntyre, a John Cena. Like, this has been really great for him. And it shows in the way he did things after he came in the Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, absolutely. Talk about a heck of a year.
Oh, yeah, he's had a great year.
So
then we get everybody's favorite Logan Paul. I can't with Logan. He's great in the ring, but I can't with him. That's where I believe we got our first elimination.
Yep.
Yeah, he eliminated Drew.
No, first elimination was Priest eliminating McIntyre, and then Logan Paul jumping off the top of CM Punk's pod.
Yeah.
With the big frog splash on Damian Priest to get him out.
So we've got Seth Rollins, Logan Paul, and out comes John Cena. We get 5 moves of doom repeatedly.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's on a loop. Punk comes out. The fight gets crazy. Paul gets eliminated. You're down to Seth, Cena, and Punk. Seth gets eliminated, but he's not done. No. And eliminated Seth Rollins comes back in, gives a stomp to CM Punk, and cost him the match. Cena gets
that
the
was
win.
all she wrote after that because CM Punk was in that STF.
Yeah, the STFU.
And that he was just out. There wasn't any reason why, but he did not tap out. He didn't quit.
Mm-mm.
And he didn't get pinned. He just passed smooth out. Which that's going to come back into play at some point.
Oh yeah, absolutely it will. So John Cena gets the win, celebrates. Out comes Cody Rhodes, shakes his hand, and they're talking about, it's me, it's you, it's WrestleMania, it's for that belt. But I know it, they know it. And The Rock's music hits because now it's time. It's time to know what Cody's going to do. And I believe Cody worded it quite well.
Mm-hmm.
Said, my soul no longer belongs to me. Because I gave it to this ring and these people a long time ago. And proceeds to say, hey, Rock.
GFY.
Yeah. Go fondle yourself. Something along them lines.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody freaked out at that. I got to see video after, of course, this is the next day, of reactions from the crowd when he said it, and reactions from Michael Cole and Pat McAfee, and everybody lost their minds.
You're gonna have to send that to me because I would like to see that. I got to see some of the video vloggers that had reaction videos that were going on,
Now, if you got little kids watching right now, you're gonna have them cover their ears because we're gonna use some rough language real quick. But I'm sorry, when Cody Rhodes, the baby face of all baby faces, looks you in the face and says, "Hey, Rock, go fuck yourself," I popped. Like I popped just as hard as everybody else did.
My eyes got big, my mouth fell open. I was like, "Oh my god!"
Even Cena was like, "Yeah." So the crowd pops for it. Cena goes over and shake his hand, gives Cody a hug, and then looks at The Rock. And the smile, like his face just drops. And The Rock says, and gives the kiss of death. Sorry, Bianca, if I'm stealing some of your stuff there. John Cena proceeds to kick Cody right in the testicles.
Mm-hmm.
We now have a heel John Cena after 21 years.
Which is a Guinness record now.
It is. It's a Guinness Book of World Records record. 21 years in a face gimmick. John Cena is now a heel. And with The Rock. That's another thing that I've watched all sorts of stuff about, like reaction videos of people watching at home, kids crying, people cussing their TVs. Like it had a huge event. Like it rocked the wrestling world. No question about that.
I believe the Cena heel turn was bigger than the Hogan heel turn.
I'll go with you on it. I think it was too. It's even if it wasn't bigger, that is this generation's Hogan heel turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, without question. One thing that did happen that we're definitely going to hear more about is The Rock had Travis Scott with him.
Mm-hmm.
Travis Scott decided to go from way up here and bring his arm down and hit Cody. He didn't do it correctly, and Cody's got a black eye and a busted eardrum out of it. Oh, there's a receipt coming.
Oh, there is. Absolutely. If Travis Scott is watching right now, which let's face it.
Travis Scott is watching. Why wouldn't he be watching?
Okay. Travis Scott, be prepared because the receipt is coming.
We've got Jello on the chat saying Make-A-Wish can't be happy about the Cena heel turn. I agree. Like, I feel like there had to have been some kind of
there's
kind of something where he's
there's
like,
a give and take going on right there somewhere, some shape, some form.
Kind of pulling the curtain back just a little bit though. This Cena heel turn plays out perfectly. With this being Cena's last year, this is his swan song. He can play the heel about midway through the year and then flip it and turn on The Rock, and immediately he's babyface again.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's got that kind of power.
It will take a national treasure to make that happen.
Look, here's the thing about that. If you were holding the pencil right now, if you were writing WWE storylines, what's the best way to give Cena just nuclear heat going into WrestleMania? You have R-Truth. John Cena has been his childhood hero, even though R-Truth is 2 years older than John Cena. We're not going to get into all the numbers. John Cena is his childhood hero, and you have him give him the talk. And this is what happened, man. You can't do this. Think of all the Make-A-Wish children. Think of everything you've done. Think of all the things you've done. You can't do this. And then have Cena drop Truth right before WrestleMania. Just nuclear heat.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not going to lie, I'd be here for it. It's the only instance in which I'd be here to see R-Truth get hit.
Well, Rick is for it any day that ends in Y. So
That's fair. So,
we go to Raw.
Let's go to Raw. Let's go to CM Punk. Holy hell. He came out firing.
Yeah. Pay attention, you bald fraud.
Yeah, he came out, didn't slap hands, Came out, grabbed a mic, got straight up on the announce table, said, I'm here to take shots at everybody, all of my enemies, and I'm CM Punk, so that means everyone. They're all my enemies. Who do you want to start with? Give me a name. Let's start. And so they started with The Rock. The Rock says, Dwayne. I love it when he gets angry. Dwayne. And you bald fraud. Like, he went off. Says, I'd love to be able to, call myself the people's champ and wear a fake ass belt to say that I'm the champion when that I ain't earned. Like, he went off. And then he went off on Cena and about how, you sold out. You sold out on who you are. You sold out on what you did. You're a sellout and you're a punk, and I got nothing for you. And then he went off on Seth Rollins. And, like, my wife was watching Raw with me, and she popped whenever CM Punk leans over and looks at the camera and goes, Becky Lynch, you better come get your man before I do. And so she popped at that. And then, of course, Seth's music hits, and she's like, Seth, this might not be the time that you want to do this, right? He seems a little angry.
Yeah. You think?
And so they run into one of the greatest pull-aparts I've seen in WWE history.
Okay. Seth Rollins and CM Punk is like Peter Griffin and the chicken.
Yep. It sure is.
Because they's fighting.
See.
Anytime it's on site, any single time that they're in arm's reach of each other, it's happening.
I'm just picturing now. I've got Punk's face in my mind going, blah, blah, blah. And the eyes dropping.
Yep.
They had a massive pull apart several times. They did the pull apart, and then they made their way back together. Pull apart, made their way back. Finally get it all settled out. They're done. And like 3/4 of the way through the show, they're trying to get an interview with Seth Rollins, and Seth sees Punk down the hall and throws his coat at him, and they jump on each other again. They got to get pulled apart again. Yeah, I'm all about that. That was great.
Okay. Biggest thing that WWE does. Out of every show, there is at least 2.5 things that that are going to be carried over or advertising for the next show.
Right.
That's one of those two things.
No shit.
We get Seth Rollins and CM Punk in a steel cage.
Next week on Raw, Monday. That's happening. Bring it.
Yeah, this is going to be good.
We also got to see Lyra Valkyria defend her Women's Intercontinental Champion against, I forgot her name, Ivy Nile.
Mm-hmm.
This was a good match, and Ivy Nile doing what Ivy Nile does, tried to take out the knee. And Lyra Valkyria winning the match on one leg. Like, it was very well fought. The women's division on Raw, on SmackDown, all the way across. Just absolute awesomeness.
Mm-hmm. It is fire.
It is, absolutely. Which, the women weren't quite done there, because we had Mommy herself, Rhea Ripley versus Io Sky for the title. And that match was pretty wild.
Yeah. And we're still telling a story. This is the fourth time that these two have met?
Through NXT and everything, yes. And Rhea
is still
up to this match. Rhea had never beaten Io Sky in a singles match.
Keep that in mind, guys. Rhea Ripley has never pinned Io Sky.
And that has not changed.
No, absolutely not. We have a new women's world champion.
We sure do. So what we end up with now, unless things happen between now and then, we have Io Sky versus Bianca Belair at WrestleMania. Which,
my theory on the situation is, Mommy's going to figure out a way to get herself in that match.
I hope she does too. That'd be awesome.
And then you have the top of the second NXT generation,
mm-hmm.
all in one match at WrestleMania for all the marbles.
That'd be wild. But we also had the War Raiders defend their titles against the American Made, the Creed brothers. They're able to pull off a win, and still,
yes,
men's tag team titles. I mean, tag team champs. That was a good match. Man, I can't get over Ivar. Ivar's the one that trips me. Like, that man should not be able to move the way he does and be the size that he is.
Yeah, it's the big one you got to watch out for.
Yeah.
What? No, but I'll do respect to Rayro because Texas boy and everything.
Yeah.
We got to show the love for them. But yeah, War Raiders. They're a good tag team right now, and they are trying to be memorable because the tag team situation in WWE at some points were like, who's the tag team champions again?
And then you find out and go, who are they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're getting something that the tag team situation hasn't had in a long time. So it's gonna be something that we're gonna start having to watch. And
I'm about. I like tag team wrestling.
I love tag team wrestling, especially when done right.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's going to do it for main roster moments. Before we get into it, I want to remind everybody, if you're watching, if you're listening, click all the things. Go to all the formats, all the different platforms. Click the likes, the follows, the subscribes, the bells, the whistles, all of it. Click all the things.
Yes.
It helps us out. It helps it helps us see what people are watching, where they're watching, how we can make our product better for you. So if you haven't, go through, click all the things. And I'm hoping the guy is in front of everything because it is now time for Notes from the Clown Show. So, as a promoter, let me ask you a question. How important is production value to a show?
On a scale from 1 to 10, it's an 11.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of thought that. I feel like it's important. So
very, very important.
If you've got somebody cutting a promo on the stage, in the ring, wherever they're at,
right?
You got them cutting a promo, and you're going to switch to somebody in the back. You might do something like, I don't know, count them down, or okay, we're going to come to you in 3, 2, 1, go. Right?
Yeah.
Is that
you do the count? You do the countdown. You do you would have. This is something that Patrick could probably talk about more as well. You've got somebody that's watching all the camera angles.
Mm-hmm.
And you see something that's going on in one camera and you go, okay, it's not quite time to go to that one yet. Let's keep it on this. Okay, and now.
So what you wouldn't do then is, as you've got your big heel cutting a promo, wiping blood off his hands, you wouldn't cut to the person that he supposedly beat down and left a bloody mess, punching himself in the head to make the blood splatter.
No.
Because that's what happened on the clown show. Christopher Daniel punching himself in the head. And the thing that the thing that bugs me the worst about it is he's hitting himself in the head and then goes.
It was bad.
It was so bad. Like, we've got Eska 1981 saying it wasn't that bad this week, I think, anyway. I didn't watch Dynamite. I'm not going to lie. I will say this. I have heard that Dynamite was decent this week.
I follow some of the news sites, and they were talking some good things about it. So I'm still going to be a judge for myself. I'm still going to. I can't watch it all the way through. It doesn't do it for me.
So,
but I will watch the highlights. I will watch the promos. I will watch all of that good stuff so I can actually talk about it a little more.
Here's my thing on the production value. You should have two things going on. You should have somebody counting down the talent. Somebody should have been looking at Christopher Daniels going, okay, in 3, 2, so that he knows, okay, I worry about. And then there should be somebody in the production truck that's watching that monitor and says, he's punching himself in the head. Maybe we shouldn't cut to that camera yet. But no, all I can envision is somebody was sitting in the production truck going, Mr. Khan had told me that when the big hand is on the 6 and the little hand is on the 8, I'm supposed to press this button. That's all I can picture happening in the truck.
Oh, God. Yes.
Like, how do you get there?
I don't know. Patrick, do you want to chime in on that? Do you have anything to say about that?
See, now you put him on the spot. That's production value.
Yeah,
see?
you see? At least he was honest about it.
All right. Next one. How do we outdo the Cena heel turn? Seems to be what's on the mind of Tony Khan. How do we outdo it? How do we do better than Cena turning heel? First off, Tony, you clown, you can't. That rocked the entire wrestling world. You're not going to top that. But here are Jello saying AEW doesn't have production meetings, so you can expect this kind of madness. I mean, it makes sense. Here are some of the things that have been brought up to potentially outdo a Cena heel turn. You have Prince Nana turn on Swerve.
Okay, I see.
That's
been
going to happen.
Yeah.
That's not going to, like, we've all seen that coming. You have the Death Riders.
Yes.
You have the Death Riders turn on Mox. Why?
Yeah, I don't see what could come of that.
Nothing.
You're gonna get.
You gonna try to turn Mox heel or turn Mox face because the Death Riders turned on him? I mean,
no.
See,
No.
See, it hurts your head, don't it?
It does. It does hurt my head.
And
it's like you can't. You can't.
I know. And so the other one I've heard is having Jay White turn on Cope. Now I will say,
oh, that's happening.
That's gonna happen, and it's gonna be cool. Like, I'm a Jay White fan. I like Jay White. Cope, you're dead to me. It's been over a month. He has been Cope for over a month, and he has not once teamed with Cabana. I have no Cope with Cabana. He's dead to me.
Okay.
Just saying. You put Cope with Cope Cabana, you call the team Cope Cabana. It writes itself.
It does, but
They even have theme music.
They do.
We got Jonathan Coachman sing it. Why this hasn't happened? Tony, come on, man.
Jeez.
If you're gonna be the clown show, at least be funny. We've got Jello saying Sheamus is reported to be going to AEW to feud with Cope. What? I have not heard that yet. I will have to do some looking into that.
Yes, absolutely. Because that. Why?
Well, tell you what. Let's go into last one.
Okay.
Ricochet. And a damn laugh. What the hell is that? Like,
honestly, and yes, this is going to be somewhat of a positive for me saying this about the clown show. Ricochet is making an attempt to be himself, and he is a nerd, and he is obnoxious. That's one of the reasons why he didn't. There wasn't a whole bunch of problem when he left the WWE, is because they were having, he's kind of a weirdo. So I think we're getting authentic Ricochet right now. And
I could see that. And Eska 1981 saying Omega turning on Osprey, like, I could be with that. I don't think Mike's with that.
Why? So you can get the match that they've had 14,000 times?
Fair, very fair. My thing with Ricochet.
The main thing that you need to know and everybody else needs to know, the Guerrilla Militia is coming back, and we're coming back stronger than ever. And we're going to destroy any and everybody that gets in our way. That includes you. So I suggest you tell everybody, don't fuck around with the militia. All right? And then you know what? We may end up taking over the show. Hell, we might end up taking over your podcast. So be on notice because it's happening. You hear me? Cheers.
What the hell was that? All right. Patrick, I'm not sure how that just happened, but that needs to not happen again. Look, me and Sid, you take my podcast? Really? We were done. We were done. I was leaving him. All right. So, as you can tell, we've got a BCW show coming up that apparently said, and the Guerrilla Militia are coming to take over. All right. Hold on. Professional. Calm down. This fucking guy.
Easy.
Gonna take my podcast? My podcast.
He's trying to take my show.
We'll see about that. I got something for you, Sid. Don't worry. We'll take care of it. But let's talk about some BCW separate ways, shall we?
Yeah, let's do it.
We'll take my podcast.
Hey.
My podcast.
Focus.
I got a little different F word for him.
Hey, just because he used those words doesn't mean you have to.
Just saying. I'm gonna take your podcast. I'll take your militia. Oh, no.
Hyperkinetic Unbound.
Yes. Kill him. Not that. Oh, okay. What's up, Aaron? Glad you can make it into the chat and hear whatever the hell that was. I want to know how he got in. How did he get in the stream? Like, oh no, that I just want to know how they got into the stream. And Patrick, expect a phone call when this is over, because that can't happen again. Take my pocket, boy.
Okay.
All right, BCW separate ways. TMW Event Center, this Saturday.
Yes.
2 days away. It's going to be a good show. Calm down.
Might be a little chilly outside, but it's going to be hot inside.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. One of the biggest things people are talking about right now, of course, is the Pick Your Poison match. Nathan Briggs, Jason Zane, these two have tried to kill each other for the better part of 3 months now. 4 months, maybe?
6 months.
6 months. And so we're going to have a contract signing. They were told at the last show, if you touch each other between now and your match, not only are you fired, but you'll be arrested. And I hope they're taking that to heart, because I know I meant every word I said, and I could see in your eyes you meant every word you said.
Yeah.
So I hope they're taking that to heart. So we will have a contract signing for their match in May where they can tear each other apart, but they can't touch each other till then. We did, however, give them the option to have a pick your poison match. That meaning that Jason Zane will pick who Nathan Briggs faces. Nathan Briggs will pick who Jason Zane faces. So it's gonna be interesting. I've kind of been racking my brain. Like, are they gonna use people we have? Are they gonna bring somebody in?
Well, there's a lot of also appearing graphics.
There are that. It's gonna be
one of those was that guy that just showed up on our podcast.
I left it alone, and you brought it back, and it's come take my podcast. Come take my podcast. Come on. Do you remember last time we was in the ring?
I don't have the strength or the patience to deal with you and said again.
He jumped in on my podcast.
I understand.
And he said he's gonna take my podcast. Take my podcast. Take my podcast.
Okay. Let's talk about another match.
Well, we have a match that's coming up. It's made at the last show.
Mm-hmm.
We had Ryan Riven show up. He was supposed to go against Damo McCullough. Damo McCullough lost his match with the one person you're never going to win a match with, and that's Mother Nature. Unable because of weather to make it out to the shows, so Ryan Riven unable to have his match with Damo, but Cosmo Orion stepping in saying, hey, maybe we should fight. Match was made. They had a great match. It was for the PCW championship.
Mm-hmm.
Had a great match. Ryan Riven gets the win in the end of it. Cosmos Orion, of course, a friend of Marty Snow.
Mm-hmm.
Marty Snow coming in to check on his friend. I'm not sure exactly what happened. Something got said. But we end up with Ryan Riven and Marty Snow face to face, middle of the ring.
Nose to nose.
Yeah. There's, of course, no love lost between those two. They have battled all over the state of Texas.
Mm-hmm.
So
why not in Leveland?
Why not in Leveland? They're gonna go at one another. It's gonna be, I don't know, when you have a rivalry like that. I mean, it's not just gonna be a match.
No.
It's
gonna be a fight.
It's gonna be a fight. It's gonna be a brawl, and it's gonna get ugly. You can tell that from seeing how they got face to face. Speaking of fights, we have the one and only Lilith Blood, the OTB, challenged by Gino Rivera, Hatebreed Gino Rivera.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen Gino wrestle.
Yeah. Gino
throws out a lot of accolades, and is right to do so because he's earned every one of them.
Mm-hmm.
He's a great wrestler. But Lilith Blood ain't no slouch.
No,
so
she ain't.
I'm looking forward to this one.
Just saying, the promos these two have gone back and forth with, fire.
Oh yeah.
Gino talking about what are you going to do when you can't use the garbage cans, you can't use the weapons, you can't use all the toys that you usually use, and then Lilith Blood coming back with saying, just because I'm a lady that likes to play with her toys doesn't mean I don't have to use them to get the job done.
And I believe the terminology that Lilith used was, I don't need my toys to whoop that trick.
Yep.
Get them. So that's going to be a good match. And just to add a layer on top of that match, the winner of that match is the number one contender for the Texas title.
Mm-hmm.
So that just adds to it, adds to the fire in there. So that's going to be a good match. Looking forward to that one.
It'll be the winner of Damo McCullough versus Brandon Group.
Now, that one in particular, there's been a lot of I don't want to call it passive aggressive finger poking going on there. But of course, Damon McCullough, Texas through and through, never fails to say how much he enjoys representing Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Brandon Groom says, don't forget how we Oklahoma boys do things. And I think you've forgotten, so I'm going to come to Levelland and I'm going to show you how we do it in Oklahoma. So this has gone from the Texas title to Texas versus Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm kind of here for it. I'm not going to lie.
It's gonna be something special. It's something that you're gonna have to watch.
Agreed. It's going to be awesome. I'm looking forward to it. Brandon Groom, awesome in the ring. Whenever we had the last time Sid decided to jack with me, we had Team Guapo, Brandon Groom, a part of my team.
Mm-hmm.
The winning team, I might add. I'm just saying, we won. But watching him there, watching him in Oklahoma, like Brandon Groom he's money.
Yeah. I have been getting phone calls from people in Oklahoma going, hey, where can I stay so I can come down and watch this fight? It's going to be one you don't want to miss. If you ain't got your tickets yet, BCWProWrestling.com.
Absolutely. And, we talk about Brandon Groom, but Damon McCullough, we've lined him up. He's laid him down every time. He's a fighting champ, and he enjoys being the Texas champion.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm looking forward to this match. I'm looking forward to the Texas versus Oklahoma side of it. Maybe this is just the fan in me, but I'm really looking forward to hearing the fans. Like, what's it going to sound like when we've got all of these Texas fans, all of these Oklahoma fans in there? That's what I'm waiting for. That's gonna be. Well, you've seen it before. If you've watched any wrestling at all, you've seen it before. How the fans can drive what happens in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm waiting for, to see how that works out. Of course, talking about titles, we have the BCW heavyweight title on the line. Our champion, Jeb Bingham,
Mm-hmm.
A fighting champion through and through.
Well, a little birdie told me he is enough.
That's what I've heard. That Jeb is enough. Fighting champion through and through, has never turned down a challenge.
No.
And got just that from Concrete Nate Collins.
Mm-hmm.
Says, I'm going to teach you the old ways, which Jeb took exception to. I don't know if you've had a chance, you guys watching or listening, I don't know if you've had the opportunity to listen to Jeb's promo, but we got fired up champ, especially talking about the old ways and how he's left his blood, his sweat, and his tears in the ring. So,
well, with everything that has been going on with the Emilio Guzman paying off the security, jumping him down, everything else that happened there, and now Nate Collins comes out of almost nowhere and starts challenging him, saying he's going to take his belt and become the true king of West Texas. So, yeah, Jeb's taking it personal, and the fire is there. It almost reminds me of another thing that used to happen.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, things happen when Jeb gets fired up.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't wait to see how this one turns out. Of course, I'm pulling for my boy Jeb. Always pulling for Jeb. Nate Collins, no slouch though.
No,
like he's DFW, and he has been up against some of the best and came out on top.
One thing about Nate Collins is the psychology that he uses. He picks people apart. He goes and he watches hours and hours of videos before he goes in and he fights somebody, and he's studying. I'm sure he's probably sitting in front of a screen right now studying every little thing about Jeb. seeing where his weak points are, seeing what people have already worked on, seeing what he can grab a hold of. So, that's the old ways. That's what they did. That's what they did. That's what they did in the old times. Is they sat there and they watched and saw where the weak points were, and they went after them.
And I'm with you in the fact that when it comes to the ring psychology, Nate Collins is up there with the very best of them. Because not only will he watch all the film and pick you apart in the ring, but he'll get in your head. He'll start picking you apart before the match ever starts. And again, the old ways. Very, very Jake the Snake.
Yeah.
So that's the question of the night right there. Is Nate Collins going to come to Level End and become King of West Texas? Or will we prove once again that Jeb Bingham is enough?
That's a question that's going to be answered in just a couple of days.
I'm here for it. I can't wait. One more match. And I'm all about this match.
The International Showcase.
It is. It's the International Showcase. I've realized that I have been billing Chris Watson all wrong. I've been billing Chris Watson all wrong.
Okay.
He made it known that he is the only international superstar on the BCW Texas roster. And in looking into it, he's right. Absolutely, he's right. So, can't be giving him little matches. You got to give him something to fit the title he's got. So we did. And he will be going one-on-one with international superstar, the Super Beast.
Straight off of a match in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico for AAA. So yes, the Super Beast. Known all around. He's worked with Onita in Japan. He's worked with Conan down in Mexico. He's done all of these things. And, very world traveled. He is the world warrior. And also, fun little fact, he was the longest, or he still is considered the longest reigning BCW heavyweight champion.
Okay.
So, BCW is not a stranger to the Super Beast. Very good friends with our owner, Terry Pantera.
Shout out to Terry.
So when Chris Watson started running his mouth, I get a phone call from Terry saying, "You need to call Beast. He wants to talk to you."
Uh-oh. Words you never want to hear.
Yeah. And I hear, who's this guy that's saying that he's the only international superstar for BCW? And I had to give him a little bit of an explanation of everything. And he was like, "Okay, book my flight. I'll be there. I'll be there."
Ruh-roh. Now, I never thought I would see the day on this podcast that this was going to happen. So mark your calendars, ladies and gentlemen. But on Chris Watson's behalf, he ain't no slouch. Like, he has been to Mexico and made the rounds. He has, my understanding is, I'm not 100% on this, my understanding he's been to Japan.
Now, I don't know about that.
That's what I heard, that he's been to Japan. I know he's fought in Mexico. I know he's the Güero Bandito. He's well known.
He's been up on,
He's been on the side of a building.
Yes.
Which,
if you're from this area, whenever you're driving down the Marsha Sharp Freeway and you look over and there's this big HEB banner that covers the entire building, you're looking at something like that had Chris Watson on it.
Yeah. So this one's going to be good. And Again, not sure when this happened, but when I informed Mr. Watson that he was going to have this match, he said that this will be round 2 for Watson and Super Beast.
I don't know about all that,
That's what he said.
but
I'm assuming that happened in Mexico, or
I guess it happened somewhere. But Watson does talk a lot, and sometimes he doesn't make a lot of sense.
that's fair. One too many shots to the head, I think. But I'm here for it. That's going to be a hell of a match.
Mm-hmm.
And it is my hope that those two take each other to the limit.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can't wait for it. That's going to be an awesome match.
Yep.
And of course, we've got people that are going to be there. They've confirmed they're going to be there. I'm not sure in what capacity yet.
Well, what we did is whenever the pick your poison thing came about, I went ahead and tried to make some phone calls and bring some people in so that there was a pick for everything.
Right.
They had options.
No, I get you.
And then you sign what? Like I said, we still need to have a conversation about this because I have no idea what's going on other than this is the second show in a row that this deal comes up.
Do you trust me, Mike?
I do trust you, but I'm rather scared because it looks from the looks of the video, you've got somebody that's possibly criminally insane.
Person's been called worse.
Okay, but
we'll have a discussion after the show. I'll
oh, he's not giving me any spoilers
at all. None.
It's no fair.
Just understand that you'll be happy about it.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
It's going to be good. We do have my one and only signing that I might or might not have told Mike about. Sorry, boss. That person's going to be there as well. I've heard Chasing the Cash is going to be there. Apparently Big Sid's going to be there. I can't hardly figure that Marty Snow's going to come down without like Cosmo and Chaos and boys from El Paso. Like there's all sorts of people going to be there.
Yeah, I even heard a rumor that our owner Terry Pantera may be gracing us with his presence.
Yo, okay, I'm down. Come on with it, Terry.
But you realize he doesn't leave the house for just anything. So something must be going on if he's going to be showing up.
Have to be on our P's and Q's.
Yes, absolutely. Which means we need to have good production value.
Yes, production value.
Because we are
the sleep deprivation is kicking in.
On both sides of this situation.
Yes. No, I'm excited. All joking and stuff aside, this is going to be a great show. And the cause for this show is near and dear to both of our hearts. Our March show, our Separate Ways show, is our suicide prevention mental health awareness show.
Yes, it absolutely is.
So it's our opportunity as people with a platform, with the podcast, with the BCW, it's our opportunity to tell you if things are hard, if you find yourself in that dark place, tag me in. You're not alone in anything.
Yeah.
We're here. All you have to do is tag us in. Anytime.
Right here.
That's all it is. Not so much in the recent past, but there was a time when way too many times you were hearing stories about this person's gone now, and this person's gone now, and this person's gone now, because of the stress of life, because you find yourself in those dark places, because you feel alone. And I'm here to tell you, if you're listening to this right now, if you're watching this right now, you're not alone.
No, you're not.
We're here for you. My information's all over the podcast. Mike's information's all over socials as well. If you feel free to reach out anytime, we're here for you. Again, tag us in.
Absolutely.
Well, we've hit that 9:20 mark.
Mm-hmm.
So we're coming up on the end of the show. So I am going to turn it over to you for a moment. I'm going to step out for just a second. I'm going to turn it over to you. Give some final thoughts to the nice people.
The nice people?
Well, okay, all the people.
All the people. Okay. Well, all the people. This is it. Independent wrestling at its finest. There is heart, soul, energy, blood, sweat, tears, everything else that goes into this. And, you know, we have so much of what we do that we try to give back for. And that's been a personal goal of mine, which is why, you know, I don't make anything off of these shows. In fact, I'm putting in way more than I'm taking out. And, you know, we find these causes and we try to do the best we can to give back every single show that we do here in Texas. And all I ask is, if you haven't given us a chance, please do so. Give us a little bit of time. We'll show you it's way worth the money. Way worth the money for a ticket. And, you know, you're contributing to something that's bigger than we all are. Now, also, when you support independent wrestling, you get these guys you get these guys footage to get to this next level. You never know where we might actually have somebody that's on this card that within the next 6 weeks may be debuting on TV one way, shape, or form or another.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we've had Gino perform at WWE. We've had, you know, Justin has performed in front of a WWE audience, in front of an AEW audience. You know, the international guys, you know, they could be all over the place, but you never know what's going to happen. And seeing them at this grassroots level, that's going to be something that carries on. You know, I remember looking out and being in a locker room with guys like Ray Rowe, which is
Ivar,
which is not Ivar, it's Eric on WWE. Been in the locker rooms with Keith Lee, been in the locker rooms with all kinds of guys that have been doing their thing on TV right now. And it's absolutely a pleasure to be able to do things like that. And, you know, you can be a part of it. And the thing is, we're not a 6,000 seat venue.
No.
We're a 200 seat venue.
But we could get there.
But the intimate connection that you have, I've had Damo come out and arm wrestle a little kid and and have the kid, that kid is going to take that memory and go forever with it.
Mm-hmm.
He may come back. That may be somebody that graduates from Pro Wrestling 101 later on in life. And, you know, that was the catalyst that started the whole thing. Was, I had that interaction with Damo. That could be you. You could be sitting out there watching this right now, and you could be. It could draw you in.
Well, and looking at the other side of that coin, let's say the stars align 6 months from now, that same kid who had an arm wrestling match with Damo may see him on an NXT or a Raw or a SmackDown or Collision or Dynamite, see him on television and be like, I had an arm wrestling match with him. And like, you can't buy that kind of experience.
No, not at all.
So I agree. I've said it 100 times. Independent wrestling is my drug. It's my drug of choice, and I love it, every minute of it. If you haven't had the opportunity to catch a show, this is the one to catch. If you're in this area, apparently if you're in Oklahoma, this is the one to catch. These guys leave it all in the ring, and they do it all for the fans. So it's going to be a great show. BCWProWrestling.com. If you're listening to this and you're thinking, I want to go to this show, you can get your tickets right there. BCWProWrestling.com.
Go to Tobacco Express Liquors over in Levelland.
If you're in the area, you can go there. If you're not in the area, if you're not able to make it to our BCW show, I guarantee you there is independent wrestling within 50 miles of you. I don't care where you're at. Go check it out. I've had a lot of people ask me, what's the difference? Like, if I want to watch wrestling, I can just watch it on TV. It's not the same. It's not, you don't get what you see on television when you go to an independent wrestling show. It's different. I don't even know the best way to describe it. There's an aura at an independent wrestling show. And there's a connection, like you were talking about, between the fans and the wrestlers. You can go to a WWE show and you'll probably get waved at, something like that. If you're lucky enough to be on the entrance, you'll get a high five. These guys want to meet you after the show. Whenever we open up to merch tables, these wrestlers want to meet you guys. They want to meet the fans. They want that opportunity to say hi and thank you for watching me wrestle, and here's my shirt, and all that good stuff. So make sure you're checking out independent wrestling. And if you're in this area, Saturday night, TMW Event Center, Levelland, Texas, that is going to be the place to be for BCW Separate Ways.
Yes, absolutely.
I hope to see each and every one of you there, but I believe that's going to about do it for us tonight.
Yep.
I'm going to get some rest, get this whole voice thing taken care of, and get ready for Saturday.
Yeah, you should do that.
I believe that I will. Anything else you want to throw at him?
You may get to see an appearance by Buddy.
Yes, little Guapo. Supposed to be there. I know, right?
Apparently there's not a wedding this weekend. So
I do have one more little message before I give it. Look what you said. Okay. Sorry, I had to deliver a message.
Okay.
That message was for Big Said and the Guerrilla Militia. Take my podcast.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just pissed me off. But you know what? This is my podcast, and I am your host, Guapo, the tutorial boss. That's the man, the myth, the legend, Mike Caldwell. And we will see each and every one of you Saturday night at BCW Separate Ways. Until then,
I'm Mike Caldwell.
I'm Guapo. We're not your average Mars. See y'all next time. Yeah.